This is a little bit different than the videos that I've been doing so far. This is a vlog, I think. Basically, I found myself a little behind on videos. The reason is the huge winter storm that just hit us here in Texas. I'm located in Austin, and the community has really been affected by this winter storm. Knocked out power, knocked out water. But I wanted to make sure that I got a video posted for you all and kind of glean some lessons and some thoughts on that experience. One of them is certainly about emergency preparedness. You know, our homes are filled with so much stuff we don't use, and even an emergency might not be super helpful. But what are the basics? Obviously, we need water and non-perishable foods. And we also need things like a flashlight. What if the lights go out? And making sure that that flashlight has batteries in it that work, and extra spare batteries if you need them. And that's actually something I find a lot in clients' homes. They have pieces of things that might be helpful in an emergency, but when you're in that situation, finding and collecting those things or realizing you don't have batteries that work in a flashlight, all of those things come to light. And also obviously making sure that you have those food items like I mentioned. Now, in my last apartment, I didn't have a lot of extra room for those non-perishables. So I feel very lucky that I have these cabinets now where I can stock up a bit more. But just remember, emergency preparedness, first aid, these are all things that actually have real consequences. And those are things that, you know, not overkill, but to some degree need to be addressed. They're more important than all of those projects and things maybe you might use or some clothes you might wear. When you think about it in comparison to an emergency situation, those other things you have aren't as important, and making sure you're very clear on what you need during an emergency is set aside. Another piece of this experience really brought to light, again, how having a more minimalist and a simpler lifestyle can at least ease some of the stress during an emergency or disaster type of situation. You're not pulled from so many different angles. There aren't a million things you have to cancel if you don't have a million things on your calendar. And so you're really able to, with a simpler lifestyle, be more prepared mentally, physically, emotionally when these types of events occur. You're also set up for a lifestyle where less is more, right? So having less stuff available to you as a result of an emergency is a little bit easier to deal with. And again, all of this can take an emotional toll. We're just doing these types of things and doing these gut checks and these double checks to make sure that we're in the best position possible. And this is where mindfulness comes in. Having a mindfulness practice, whether it's through meditation or meditative walks, whatever you use to be more mindful, this is gonna help you help others, it's gonna help you stay calm, and it's gonna help you check in with yourself and understand what it is you're going through in the moment. And if you're having difficulty, you'll be a little bit more prepared to acknowledge and face that difficulty through mindfulness. And from an even more personal note, I planned on having videos ready, but I couldn't turn on my special video lights when we were trying to conserve energy, and the entire vibe of the situation didn't promote doing those types of activities when we were all here really focused on the storm. And that is difficult. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you assume, oh, she's so disciplined and she's got everything ready to go and she's not gonna miss a deadline. It's hard for me in those situations because I always want to be prepared, and I always want to have everything running on the timeline that I wanted. And certainly situations like this affect me too. And I really have to call upon the mindfulness practice I've developed, and I really have to focus on what is most important to myself and the community at large. And speaking of which, I would invite you to consider donating to one of the organizations I have listed here. These are groups that help us here in the Austin community, and I'm sure that they would love any of your support. It could be in a very small giving amount or an in-kind donation. Just wanted to put that out there in case you were interested and weren't sure of where to go to be helpful. In summary, it's been a tough week. A lot of great reminders of why having a minimalist lifestyle is helpful and why focusing on what's most important, like being prepared for emergencies, knowing where everything is in your home so that you can access it, being used to having a more open calendar and a more free-flowing lifestyle that allows you to, bend with the wind. But even so, recognizing the emotions that you're going through and really developing and calling upon that mindfulness practice, that's a true minimalist lifestyle. Hopefully dealing with these tough situations in a better way, in a more resourced way, but also acknowledging when it's time to take a pause, readjust, and maybe make a vlog out of it. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program soon. If you'd like to stay tuned, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when my next video releases.